So I think having those important people in your life that are able to have you take a step back, those are key. And that's what we have here at Women Leaders. It's a network of not only just women, but people in your life that are looking out for you and your overall wellness, not just your work life.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Reach Your Prime. I'm Jared Barnes, your host and founder of Prime You. We develop talent within organizations and support individuals in their personal and professional pursuits of excellence. Today, we're talking with Celine Mangan, who is the Membership Engagement Coordinator for the Women Leaders in College Sports. Celine served on the NCAA Division II Student Athlete Advisory Committee and was a graduate assistant in student athlete development at Western Illinois University. Celine's resume already includes some great experience and involvement in so many leadership projects, and she has some great lessons to share about how to stay focused and live well. Enjoy. Well, good morning and welcome to the Reach Your Prime podcast. I'm your host, Jared Barnes, and today we have Miss Celine Mangan with us today from the Women Leaders in College Sports. Really excited to have Celine on the show. Such a small world. Celine and I actually connected almost a year ago, and we've reconnected now through the podcast. So Celine, thank you so much for your time. Just to start us off, do you want to just introduce yourself real quick to our audience, give a brief background about your athletic experience and what you do in collegiate athletics now?
Yeah, definitely. And first, thank you, Jared, for having me on. Yeah, it was small world when Justin reached out to me. I'm excited to be on here. I'm excited for what's going on with Prime and all that you're doing. So thank you again for that. A little bit about me. So I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Always go Cavs.
Yeah.
Grew up in a big family. There was 5 kids, but we were all within 6 years of each other. So that obviously had an interesting dynamic growing up, a fun one. From there, I went to a Division II school called Notre Dame College, played basketball. Grew up, it's right outside of Cleveland. I said, wow, always want to be that high school basketball coach and that kindergarten teacher. I think that's what I always said. Through my involvement, though, I got involved with National SAC as a Division II rep and had some great liaisons with that. There were so many that I can't even name them all, between Josh Looney, Peyton Williams, so many, Ryan Jones. And just seeing at the helm of that, there was 2 women. They're actually Terry Siebgrona and Maritza Jones are still at the helm of it. And just kind of look at them and I was like, whoa, college athletics? Wait, I can be around college athletics forever? That's cool. So it really just kind of opened my mind, I guess. And so I was like, I want to get a job in this. After college, someone reached out to my college basketball coach and just said, hey, would Celine be interested in this? It was at Western Illinois University. And I took a look and I was like, sure. And that it was working directly with men's basketball, kind of all things. So student athlete development, academics, kind of like personnel, just all things considered. From there, so I was a graduate assistant there, getting my master's. And then, our good friend Tori Neiman, she left me and went to Clemson. So I ended up overseeing a few more other sports, a lot of the teams, just kind of taking it truly under. So our department went from a department of 4 just to me with a few other student volunteers and stuff. At Western, it was probably about a year ago, actually, right around now, that one of my old mentors, Natalie Winkelfuss, who's the AD at Oberlin College and from Cleveland, reached out to me and she said, hey, Celine, would you be interested in this opportunity at Women Leaders? And I was like, sure, I'd love to hear more about it, thinking that's just, let's hear more about it. And she's like, great, you have an interview tomorrow. Be prepared and don't embarrass me. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, blindsided. But then just learning more about Women Leaders, about the internship, about what it encompassed, I was really excited about it and just getting to know the organization a little more. So from there, I graduated early from Western and started on in Women Leaders this past December. The internship was supposed to go December to December, but I actually just started full time about a month ago here at Women Leaders. So as our boss, thank you. Excited. My boss says that I just signed my life away. So we'll see where the next step is, but I'm excited to be here for a good time now.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So many gems already that I can think of in this, but let's unpack that a little bit more. Let's go back to your experience at Notre Dame College.
Yeah.
A lot of our listeners have either experience at small schools as athletes, administrators, you name it. There's just so many more D2 and D3 1AA schools out there than there are these, big Power 5 schools that get all the press. Just tell us a little bit about your experience as a student athlete at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that, Jared. When I first looked at it, I was like, no way, not going there. It was right. It was only 25 minutes away from home. But being there, I look back and it was hands down the best decision I've made. It's that small environment is something that I truly learned to grow. And you become close with not only all of the people that you're in the classroom with every day or on the court with, but also with your professors, with the president of the college, with the VPs, with the dean. And those people are still some of the biggest people and influencers in my life that I'm still always going to for advice. So truly just embracing that small college lifestyle is something that I learned to love and still love. Still keep in contact with not only my own teammates, but also the guys on the football team, the soccer players that were from overseas. It's a unique experience for sure.
That's great. That's great. And then you moved on after that to Western Illinois.
Macomb, Illinois.
The famous Macomb, Illinois, the Leathernecks. Talk to us about that experience, where you had experience as an athlete at the Division II level. Mm-hmm. Now you're going in as an administrator, juggling multiple roles. So I can only imagine the challenges that you faced there. What was that like? Maybe not necessarily getting a ton of experience before being thrust into a position where you were doing a lot. Walk us through that.
That's a good question too. So walking into Western, when I was going in for student athlete development and academics, I was like, well, I don't really have, like you said, that much experience in it. What am I going to be doing there? Starting as graduate assistant though, that is just something, and with my involvement with National SAC, it's something that just kind of fit naturally. Obviously having the academic background with education, as well as the student athlete development with National SAC, that just kind of flowed naturally, I guess. I credit though Western to a lot is not only being thrust into a position like that, but Western is an incredible place with incredible people where everyone's going to battle for the person next to them. I was able to get experience in game day operations with football, in compliance, in marketing. So it's kind of an all hands on deck place. And for that, I'm forever grateful because not many Division I schools are you able to say that. And truly stepping away and taking a look back, Tori and I kind of joke when you're looking at our resumes, like, how could you possibly have that much different varying experiences? But it's just because people are always willing to help one another. So it's a great place.
That's great. That's great. And it's just, there's so much value in that experience. I mean, granted, it's not necessarily, you're not getting all the press.
Yeah.
But what you're building your capacity to do just a lot of different things. And I can totally relate to that. Yeah. So I know how you feel. But now, with your role at Women Leaders, tell us, just dive deeper into your role as an intern. You mentioned you had to be kind of ready quick, so it's more of almost kudos to you for just being ready for the opportunity. But then once you got it, explain to us that process and then how you got integrated and everything you guys are doing from a national level.
Yeah. So it was just a very quick process. I had to speed up my master's, had to finish that 6 months early, and just the people around me, I'm forever grateful and thankful for that. Everyone working and moving to a new city was definitely hard too. I was moving further away from home. So my parents are like, man, you were 9 hours away. Now you're moving 12. But just kind of looking into all of that and that integration, my intern roles, it's similar actually to Western Jared, in college athletics, people have their hands in everything. Western prepared me though. I was walking into a staff at Women Leaders. We have about a staff of 10 people and we're serving a huge number of members. So as an intern, you take a role on and you're doing a little bit of everything. It's everything from membership calls to answering the phones to emailing members to happy hours. And it's all encompassing now. With that, my supervisor actually left after 2 months of me starting at Women Leaders. So I took on some even more roles and just I think it's because of how I learned growing up that I just truly embraced them. It's just like, this is awesome. Let's take it and run with it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. So I serve as the membership coordinator, and that's everything from our jobs that we post to all of our leadership institutes that we have for the varying levels of women, to our happy hours that we host, to every event in leadership, or to our national convention, which is coming up in October, to truly everything. We do a lot of search work. So we work with a lot of athletic director searches and the search firms and preparing the women not only for those searches, but also for just being in leadership roles in general. So that's as a membership, and we're a membership organization. So I have my hands probably in a little bit of everything here as well. Just being truly a point person and a contact for our members, just learning what they need and how we can best serve them. So it's a fun job. It's awesome to see the growth that we've made over the past few years, not only as an organization, but even more so prominently in college athletics. This year, I think we've had 57 hires, which is like 115% more than there was total last year, which is simply incredible, that stat alone. So we're always looking to grow and improve though, too.
That's huge. That's huge. And it just sounds like, just listening to you, that because you've done so many different things in the past, you were and are prepared to not only do your job, but do it really, really well. And you're in a unique position where, it's a small organization, but you have high responsibility. Obviously you're used to that, but what specific skills, have been just really beneficial to you, like throughout your career, but even more so now?
Yeah, I think one thing is we're big on figuring it out. So it's just taking what you know and what can you do with it to figure out what's ahead of you. And I don't think that's any gem, that's any secret that people don't know, but it's just being okay with, yeah, I got this. I'm going to figure it out. You're handed a new project. How are you going to handle it? With that, obviously comes the hard work and working through things, the communication. I'm absolutely huge on communication and talking through things, collaborating, things of that sort. But I would just say taking the initiative on things and just working to own it in everything that you do, for sure.
Own it. I love that. So what does own it mean to you? Because I think that's a broad term.
Oh yeah.
But what does it mean to you?
To make it yours. Oh my gosh. And I just said that as the D2 moniker, but I did not mean to do that. But just to truly take full responsibility for it. If you got your hands on it and you want to take ownership of it, then you got to make sure that that's a product that you want to produce, that you're going to be proud of when it's out there. I'm not going to produce something that is not the absolute highest level of excellence. And that's just what I've learned to do growing up is put it forth your best effort and make sure it's the best work that you can do.
I love it. And it just, again, listening to you, you're working hard. You're you're doing the best you possibly can do at your job. So Celine, how do you stay balanced? I know a lot of our listeners are in collegiate athletics. It's not a typical 9 to 5, and if it is, you're in those hours, you're really focused or working really hard. So what do you do to balance everything out?
Yeah. And Jared, I think that's something we're all trying to look at. We're all trying to figure out, this being a D1 student athlete, that it's hard, but it's also something that it's ingrained to us to, I don't want to say not have balance, but it's ingrained for us to go 150% of the time. And so a big part of me is trying to take a step back now while I'm still younger and trying to set habits. I'm very, very intentional about taking time away from work, whether that means shutting off my laptop at a certain time or taking time away on the weekends or spending time with my family and friends. I'm very, very intentional about it. And that's something I can't say I'm perfect at by absolutely no means, but I'm trying because I feel like now my habits that I'm creating younger are going to help me sustain it in the long run. Big things I do, little things are just working out in the morning. As you know, and people know, living in college athletics is even a job in general. You never know what the day is going to bring to you. You never know if your boss is going to come with you, crisis management, or you're going to have to work a game that night. But working out in the morning, Heather, like the University of Pittsburgh athletic director, and I talked about it. She said, Celine, I've been doing it she said, I don't even know, so many years, but that's something I took away from her. Every day at 5:30, she goes on a run, no matter what. So just committing to that, because that's for yourself. That's the time that you're always going to take for yourself, and where no one can take that away from you.
That's great. And you said younger, not necessarily young. trying to stay young. I hear you on that. Building in, seriously though, that intentional time, it's healthy. And I personally have dealt with, feeling guilty for not working hey, if I leave this, like what's going to happen? Cause it's just, especially in a smaller organization where it's so high touch and everything you're doing, it matters. And so building in that intentional time for yourself, whether it's, hey, this window of I'm not answering emails past this time, that's practical. And I think that's huge because there's so many, you can read all the self-help books, you want, or even listen to all the podcasts you want. But until you decide to take that step, of, hey, I'm going to build this into my schedule. I'm really going to be intentional about doing this, that's when you experience change. And it just, because your journey, you mentioned Notre Dame to Western Illinois to what you're doing now, it's just been this fast change. Do you see yourself, and feel free to, you don't have to answer this, you don't want to. Do you see yourself settling into, this role or a role, or what do you see as your kind of career trajectory, within athletics?
Yeah, right now I definitely, Patty, our CEO, and I talked about, she wants me to sign in blood, that I'm saying. I do love it here. I think going back to that, a part of what we talk about here is who you're around and people holding you accountable. I think I have a great network of people that are holding me accountable to that, Jared. So it's taking that time. Tori's always asking me, hey, what did you do for yourself today? Or take a break, go on a walk. So I think having those important people in your life that are able to have you take a step back, those are key. And that's what we have here at Women Leaders. It's a network of not only just women, but people in your life that are looking out for you and your overall wellness, not just your work life. So yes, I definitely see myself staying here. In the end, I don't know what my goal is. I used to say that I wanted to be an athletic director at the highest level. Right now, I just say I want to serve the greatest amount of people that I can in the best way possible and just make the biggest impact. So whether that's working at the national office, whether that's staying at Women Leaders with my blood, or whether that is serving as an athletic director and working with all those student athletes, just kind of figuring that out and continuing to work through it.
That's great. And it's interesting you say that. I was talking with another colleague of mine this morning, and she was saying that just there's such a focus in this day and age, with social media and just this hyper connectivity of you have to hustle or you have to, move up the food chain, or why you're not at a new role in a year or two, or you should be moving on to bigger and better things. But I think one, being present where your feet are.
That's good.
I think that's a huge thing. But also, like you said, just being purposeful in what you're doing and helping as many people as you possibly can, because that's why we're in the industry. And it's just, sometimes the business of college sports can block that and can pull you away, I think, from that original or pure intent. Sometimes it can be a lot of pressure, and I'm sure you felt pressure. It definitely as an athlete, but even more so in your role now. How have you dealt with pressure, whether it's as an athlete or now as a professional?
As an athlete, I was a point guard, so I hope I was okay with pressure, but it just kind of, there are a few things I do differently. Big thing, running is it's a lifesaver to me. People ask all the time, like, why do you run? I cannot stand running. And I tell them, like, I don't like running either, but I run for my sanity. It's why I don't run with music. I don't run with my phone. It's just my time to completely clear my mind and my thoughts. The team actually at Women Leaders, they laugh at me because so many times I'll text them, or after I'll be like, hey, on my run, I thought of this, or I just thought about this on my run. And because it is where I do all my thinking. So that's kind of the pressure thing. I don't know if it's necessarily dealing with pressure or that stress. Pressure in the end, I think it's just, that's how you're grown, or that's how you've raised. If you're going to handle things and just being calm, you think of the image of the duck on water, and it's calm on top, and then those feet are going, and just being okay with that in general. It's just life, I guess, is the way. I don't know the direct answer to how to deal with pressure. I just know how to deal with myself and with things in my life that I think are giving me pressure. I also just started
and that's
yoga,
good.
So.
Yeah. Hey, you just started yoga?
Trying,
I hear you. It's positive. That's positive. And it's also that place of too, that it works for you. I think that's the biggest thing. Cause it's like, again, there's 1,000,001 articles out there about how to deal with stress, how to deal with pressure, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
Exactly.
So I think, finding what works for you and running and clearing your head and, letting that go. That works. Yeah. I think that's all great stuff. So no, I know our audience appreciates all of that, but Celine, we want to get to know you. We love the professionalism, and that's a big aspect of what we do every day. We got to come in, we got to put on the face, we got to get the job done. That's what's needed. But I think there's just such a huge aspect of just that authenticity of like, hey, this is me, Jared, the person, or this is me, Celine, the person.
Yeah.
So Celine, question, just I'm very interested.
Okay.
If you're on Twitter and you only have one tweet left that you can ever send for your Twitter account, this will be the last thing people see on your Twitter account. What would that tweet say?
Jared, I can't even think of an Instagram caption, to be honest. My friend Maggie were talking, I was like, she's like, we didn't even think of Instagram captions. But one tweet We work with an organization and it's literally just called Be Good to People. So it's black and white, their logo is, and that's truly what I am. So if I can, everyone's got a story, everyone's got a backstory. We're all different. But if you come with that mindset, be good to people, life is going to be okay. So I think that would be it. It's a simple message. It's black and white. It's easy. It's not some prophetic like, whoa, but being a good person in every interaction and smiling at someone. You never know the last time they talked about, you never know the last time you see someone on the street and someone looked them in the eye. Little things like that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we all did that, how much better our world would be? So, yeah.
So true. And it's like, and it's again, back to the social media and how we're constantly searching for that new thing or something that's profound or deep, but be a good person, be good to other people, treat others the way you'd want to be treated.
Yeah.
Simple, but so significant. Okay. I like that. So now if you were a teacher, if you were a professor and you could teach one course that was mandatory to everyone on earth, a basic skill class, whatever it may be, what would that subject or topic be?
I'd have to say, so this concept of like the edge, I think I would title it probably The Edge. And it would be going back to this is, I think I would try and immerse people in like a 3-month class or a 3 weeks, some sort of thing where you are living in a completely opposite world than what you're living in right now. So whether that's race, ethnicity, faith, demographics, anything. But I think that we live in a world where we're quick to judge or quick to make opinions, or instead of just being curious, instead of trying to learn about someone else and learning where they came from, learning their backstory and why they feel the way they do, I think we could really all benefit from something like that. I say that because I think my dad tried to throw me in situations like that growing up, but do I have a lot to learn? Absolutely. Common Ground, that group with the NCAA, when I went to the Diversity and Inclusion Forum, it just made me open up eyes like, whoa, you think you're not judging, but you are. Just ask a question, learn about someone rather than judging them.
So true. Wow. Well, first, I commend your dad. I know it must have been tough, but that's just, it's perspective. I was reading a quote earlier today saying that we live in a world with a surplus of opinions, but a lack of empathy.
Oh, wow.
And I think that perspective gives you empathy, for other people. And it's so interesting, obviously now being a former athlete, having empathy for current student athletes who are just going through everything, and they may not even see it. It's just another day in the life. But that empathy piece isn't just helpful, on the job, but in life. When you're getting to connect with other people and meeting people where they're at, I think that sometimes can be a foreign concept. So, oh man, I could talk about that all day. I think it's
people
just
where they're at. I'm about it. Yeah, we think we got it all figured out, but we just got to learn about others. It's the good.
So true. We still have a long way to go. Still have a long way to go.
Oh my goodness. We do.
No, well, Celine, thank you so much. We have about 2 minutes left. So is there anything else you want to deliver to our audience or any other additional thoughts you wanted to say?
No, I think I appreciate you having me on here. Thank you. I'm glad this is going to go out, and I think it's just continue to learn. You doing this podcast is another way for people to learn, and we're all just trying to figure it out. We're all trying to be great, but just to get better every day is the key. We're not all perfect, but we're perfectly imperfect. So just moving along with that for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Celine, we do have a lot of student and young professional listeners. Where can we find you on social?
So I have a Twitter. So my Twitter and Instagram are all the same. There's Celine M. So CELINEM 11. My email is just Celine at Women Leaders in College Sports. But yeah, definitely reach out. I'd love to. A big part of what we do here at Women Leaders is called Lift As You Rise. So, and that's not just for our women, that's for our men. So just anyone that's looking for any help, I'm always willing to reach out in any way I can.
I love it. I might name the episode that Lift As You Rise. I like that. That's good. That's a hashtag right there. If I heard it.
Lift As You Rise.
Oh my goodness. Well, Celine, thank you so much. Listeners, please follow Celine, reach out to her. This is what it's all about. This is why we do what we do. Thank you so much for listening today.
Thank you, Jared.
Just to recap, here's 3 things. Focus on forming habits that will lead to the behavior you want. Keep good people close to you and uplift them as they uplift you. This is a common theme in all successful people. And simply, be good to people. It's a simple statement that carries real power if practiced. Check out Celine on Twitter at CelineM11. That's at CELINEM11. Please share this podcast and visit us at primeu.org to find more valuable tools to help you reach your prime. Our next podcast is coming soon, and if you subscribe to our newsletter on primeu.org, you'll get it right to your inbox when it comes out. Send me an email at jared@primeu.org. That's JARROD@primeu.org. And remember, it's not enough to know. We must apply. Take the lessons you learned today and start using them now. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.